All right, what is up, takers, and welcome back to this week's edition of Ties Take Today Live. We do this each and every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're currently live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So be sure to check us out on all of those media platforms. And also be sure to share your thoughts if you have questions for our guest tonight. If you want to share your opinion or just let us know where you may be watching from, you guys can comment in the chats and we'll be sure to share some of your chats throughout the conversation this evening. And of course, you guys already know how we kick off each episode. If you're new to the show, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Be sure to go ahead and follow us on Instagram at It's Ties Take Today, youtube.com/at It's Ties Take Today. We keep it real simple for you. And of course, TiesTakeToday.com for all the very latest on our interviews, previous episodes, our live conversations, and behind the scenes. On today's episode, it's very packed, so I'm going to try and get through the little intro real quickly. But first up, we're talking to comedian and film producer Sampson McCormick, and then secondly, we are talking to music artist Martinese. So we may just have to see if she's willing to give us a couple notes, and we're going to be talking about her journey as a music artist. And then closing us out is going to be Derrick Jakolby Washington. He's an author, activist, youth leader. So I am super excited. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and welcome our first guest to the virtual platform. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sampson McCormick.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. I just want to say thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time this evening. And I'm really looking forward to sharing your talents with our audience. And I really just want to jump in. And, you know, you've had such an amazing, incredible journey in comedy. Can you share with us and our audience a little bit more about yourself and what first sparked that interest and that passion for comedy?
Oh, well, first, thank you for your platform and what you're doing. You're doing something really great. You should be very proud. Um, so this year I have been doing comedy for 24 years. I started when I was 15. I'm not going to tell y'all how old I am, but we getting up there. I can feel it sometimes. And, it's been a great journey. I am one of the pioneering Black LGBTQ stand-up comedians. When I started, not many clubs were booking LGBTQ talent. And it's not so much about being gay or queer or any of those things, but it certainly was about overcoming additional hurdles attached to simply trying to go in and do your thing. And so I had to learn and apply a business model that convinced club owners to let us in. And so that helped to develop opportunities and visibility for LGBTQ comedians. I have always been great with people and had an affinity for humor. I am from DC. I don't know if y'all know anything about Chocolate City, but some of the best comedians come from Chocolate City. Dave Chappelle, Martin Lawrence, Wanda Sykes, Tommy Davis, and Lewis Black. We could go on, and that's always been a part of the culture. And so, I think growing up watching them and in Living Color and Martin and all those other shows helped to influence me to do comedy.
Absolutely, and I know you just mentioned quite the list of people that have came from there. Are there any other additional people that have inspired you, or any of your any inspirations out there for you?
Hmm. Definitely Red Fox. Red Fox. I still laugh at Red Fox. Joan Rivers, still hilarious. Mom's Mabley. A lot of the classic comedians who sort of provided the blueprint. I'm of the belief that you can never go wrong with old school. So whenever I need to set a create a reset in my creative endeavors or a creative approach to comedy, I always start with the blueprints.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more for you when it comes to your journey and starting off. Were there any like major hurdles or obstacles that you experienced during your journey or currently maybe experiencing? And how did you overcome those obstacles?
Oh Lord, were there? Um, I think one obstacle that a lot of us can relate to is not always having the support from our families. There is an expression that we hear quite a bit for anybody who's on any sort of entrepreneurial journey or creative journey, where you will hear that your biggest haters will usually be the people who are closest to you. And so, I think what that teaches you is to become a better ally to your friends and loved ones, not to be so threatened of their success and that sort of thing. So that has helped me to show up for other people that I know or come across who are working on creative or whatever type of endeavors and they need support. That's number one. Don't be a hater.
Absolutely. And I've seen some of your work, and for those that may be new to you as a comedian or your talents. So your comedy blends, humor with important social commentary, and especially nowadays, like with the political climate and just overall the current day world that we're living in. I do have to ask you, how do you balance those topics while making people laugh at the same time?
A sense of fearlessness. Sometimes you just have to get out there and say what needs to be said, and consequences be damned. Trust yourself.
Absolutely. Definitely a good motto to live by. Was there any particular moment or key takeaway in your life or key point when you were like, damn, I realized it, or damn, I made it, like, this is what I want to do?
I definitely recognized it was something I wanted to do when I was young. Um, I mean, you're here, you're doing a podcast. I'm pretty sure you were listening to the radio or something one day or something, and you said, I want to do radio. I want to be in media. I want to be on TV. And that definitely is probably a sentiment that you and I both share, Ty. So that was one. I loved Whoopi Goldberg movies when I was growing up, Sister Act, Ghost, those sort of things. So that was the realization. Okay, this is something that is calling me. Um, and it goes much deeper than that, but I'm trying not to ramble here. And as far as making it, if you really want to achieve your full potential, I don't think you ever make it. I think you strive to endeavor against any obstacles that you come up against as you continue to grow as a person and expand creatively.
Absolutely. And yes, I can definitely relate getting up in the morning before school starts, listening to the radio, calling the radio, getting
You
on
used to
DJ's
call the radio?
nerves all the time. I thought the DJs were my best friends.
Okay.
They would let me introduce songs. So yeah, I can definitely relate. And and I also agree with you, when it comes to, your true passion and purpose, it's never like making it. It's just something that you're destined to do. We also talk heavily about mental health and the importance of mental health and resources out there. We talk about it with almost all of our guests. Working in an industry or your calling rather, and it's so demanding at times. How do you personally take care of your mental health while staying creative at the same time?
Three things: positive self-talk. Before any relationship that you have with anybody else, you have to listen to your own thoughts. You're your own critic, you're your own voice, and so that voice inside your head needs to be a really good one. That voice that's inside your head needs to be one that empowers you, that uplifts you, that reassures you. Kind of in essence, I was listening to something the other day and it said like your parents teach you how to parent yourself or something like that. And so after 18 or whenever you're on your own, you're parenting yourself, and depending on, or reparenting yourself, and depending on what type of upbringing you had, you're constantly reparenting yourself, changing your beliefs about things, changing your approach to things. um, and as you mature, that should be something that is constantly getting better. So that's number one. Number two, don't compare yourself to other people. With social media, we are always, oh my God, seeing what other people are doing, and people are only going to post their highlight reel. And a lot of times these people be lying. They be lying out their ass. Some of these people got 2 million followers and they work at Wendy's. What the hell? And then
Absolutely.
the third one, there was one. It was right on in my head. The third one. trust yourself. That wasn't it, but maybe I'll think about it, but trust yourself.
Absolutely. And then I know we are going to share a clip of one of your works, Being Gay in Black Barbershop.
This is what it was. Take breaks. That was it. Take breaks.
Absolutely. Definitely jotting these down. So if y'all are out there, definitely take the advice of Sampson. So we are going to share that project. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of your other projects. And if you don't mind, we're going to play a quick rapid fire game at the end of the interview as well.
Okay.
All right. So y'all give me just a second and we're going to go ahead and share this piece with you all.
My new barber is cool, but he's over in Crenshaw. You know, he don't know that I'm gay. And the people in here who've been to a black barbershop before, you know the two things they talk about in a black barbershop is sports and pussy. I don't know what the fuck they be talking about. I be confused, working out in sweats and shit, you know. I be on Google Translate like. You know, when you up in there, you know they work on your self-esteem. So you sitting up in that chair, right? And they start working on your hand. They be like, yeah, brother, when you leave, you gonna get all the ladies. And I'm quiet. And I'm quiet because I don't lie, so I just stay quiet, right? I omit the truth. I'm just like, all right, cool. Why you act like you don't get no pussy? Because I don't. Okay? You don't get no pussy. You ain't never had it. You ain't never ate it before. I'm like, look, I don't even know how to cook that shit. And it's not that I'm in anybody's closet because I'm not in anybody's closet, but the people in here who are black and gay know you're gay, but you're also black. And I might be gay, but I'm a black man first. And I cannot let homophobia come in between me and a fresh shaper. Fuck that. Okay?
All right, welcome back. You guys are tuned in to Tides Take Today Live. We are talking with comedian and film producer Sampson McCormick. Thank you again, Sampson, for joining us today. So I want to talk a little bit about that that comedy project that we just shared, and then I also want to talk about some of your other projects as well.
Okay.
So can you explain to the audience, or maybe those that are just tuning in, what clip we just shared that was Being Gay in the Black Barbershop? And I know it talked a little bit about, you know, going to the barber and having those sometimes awkward conversations.
Yeah. So, you know, going to the barbershop period can be its own experience. It's almost like going to church. You're going to have a particular experience, but also as a black gay man, or, you know, someone who may be, you know, they may be a male, but they present very flamboyantly or whatever, and you walk into a church or barbershop, that's going to be a particular experience too. So it really helped to contribute to that community conversation that's happening about that, which is what I always aim to do in my comedy shows, is talk about issues that we are talking about as a black community and that we can relate to, whether we're gay or not, and also where other people who are learning things about culture can also, you know, hear what's happening and have a clear, accurate perspective.
Absolutely. And I know, if I did my research correctly, you're a big Beyonce fan, correct? So I want to talk a little bit about...
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, it's not the way everybody else is. I like Beyonce. I like the way she does her business.
Okay, so speaking of Beyonce, I want to talk more about Party and Play. And can you tell us a little bit about where that idea for that comedy thriller originally came from?
It came from Beyonce. So it was because when Beyonce concert tickets go on sale, somebody can be flat broke. I'm talking about $0, negative 18 trillion gazillion, but they will find $2,000 to get a Beyonce concert ticket. And so that film, Party and Play, it was kind of a spoof on Beyonce fans and how far they go to get tickets, and you know, it used the practical approach to poking fun at how that happens. Like, why would you go spend rent money on Beyonce tickets? She's not gonna come let you stay at her house.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know you also were in Jussie Smollett's B-Boy Blues. Can you talk to us a little bit about your involvement with that and what that experience was like?
Yes, so the writer of the 1994 novel, which is the book that was based off of, had been trying to get that made into a movie for 20 years. 20 long years. God bless his perseverance. And there were a couple of different producers who had stepped up to try to help him make that happen, but for some reason, it just wasn't time. And so I was in the off-Broadway perversion. I was in the off-Broadway version of the stage play as the original BD, who's one of the characters in the story. I had been making films at the time, and the writer, the author of the story, said, "Well, we need to make this a movie." And I said, "I agree, and I'm going to help you do it." And so, fast forward another 10 years, during COVID, I had free time, and Jesse had hit me up about wanting to do it. And so I called him and said, "Let's make it happen." And then he came on board, and we went from there. And it was a learning experience for sure, but I'm definitely happy that we created something that was so rich and affirming for our culture.
Absolutely. And I know you've done quite a list of work in stand-up, writing, acting. Are there any other creative spaces or outlets that you want to explore in the near future?
Oh, that's a good question. Everything. And really, because we're in a time now where we're kind of being pushed apart from each other in different ways, whether it's because of politics, whether it's because of social media and technology, like everything is becoming contactless and touchless now. You know, you can get somebody, you can order food and they can just come sit it on your doorstep and take a picture. You don't got to talk to nobody. That's nuts. I mean, I get it. Some people don't want to be bothered, but I think one of my big ideas that I have that I'm going to make happen in a really big way is to create more films that bring our communities back to the theaters and back together to celebrate our stories on film and in media. So I was having a conversation yesterday about movies like Juice, Boys in the Hood, Waiting to Exhale, Soul Food. Two can play that game. There were certain films in the 90s like with How Stella Got Her Groove Back, A Low Down Dirty Shame. Like all these movies are classics, and they brought us to the theaters. Like you, these movies were so good that they made you go on dates with people. Okay, we need movies back that make you want to go on dates, that make you want to get with your friends, that like are events. And so that's definitely something I'm going to be doing more of.
Absolutely. And with comedy evolving and as we continue into 2025, what can we expect from you as the creative that you are? And are there any possible dream collaborations or venues that you would love to perform at? Let's go ahead and speak that into existence now.
As far as projects, anything that comes from me is going to be dynamic. It's going to be um, something that has never been seen before. It's going to be something that inspires, something that makes viewers feel good and entertains viewers. They won't be able to pin it down to one genre, you know, and it you know I've been doing this now for almost 24 years, and it's only going to keep getting better and better. I can guarantee you that, Ty. As far as venues, um, it has been a career-long dream to go on some national tours. Like, I mean, I've done tours, but I'm talking about like I've had several friends to go on tours with like Dave Chappelle, Martin Lawrence, Cat Williams. You know, I had friends. I'm talking about people that I know who were featuring that for them in arenas, 20,000 seat arenas. It would be great to have some experiences like that too. Um, Dream collaborations. There are a lot of great people. I've met her before. It would be great to work with Viola Davis. There are a lot of well-known comedians that I'm great friends with that it would be great to collaborate with them as well. You know, Lunel. Um, I have an idea that I'm gonna work with Monique on something. That's gonna happen. I toured with her for a little while, and that a film is gonna happen with her for sure. Um, Angela Bassett, Michael B. Jordan, Jeremy Pope. It's a lot of people. And I want to do a historical piece too, like two things, something that is like Black history. I'm trying to think of a really like Malcolm X and that, and I don't even need to be the lead, you know, a really strong supporting role. And then something Black gay history. I really love our history.
Absolutely meaningful, inspirational pieces that you want to produce.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So before we play the quick rapid fire question, my last question for you on a deeper level is looking further ahead, what is one thing you hope that people will say about your legacy when it comes to comedy and entertainment?
That it was some of the best work that they've ever seen in any genre that I step in, for one. I really take strong pride in anything I create. And so it definitely is always going to be some of the best work anybody's ever seen. I'm always working at the highest level. Even when I'm tired, I'm working at the highest level. Um, what was the other part of that question?
Yep, just looking ahead, what when people look at your legacy when it comes to comedy and entertainment, what do you hope that they'll say about your legacy?
Work was always at the highest level. You always knew you were going to get something great, something that was inspiring for future generations, you know, something that people who share journeys that are similar to mine um, will be able to look at and say, he got over these obstacles. He transcended this, you know, these situations. You know, he motivated me to be my best, you know, just a beacon of light and excellence.
Absolutely. And of course, I do want to mention that if you're currently watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, we're going to play a quick rapid fire questions game. And if you guys want to share your answers, we want to know your answers to some of these questions. So Sampson, our first question for you is, if you could have dinner with any comedian living or dead, who would it be?
Red Fox.
All right. Next question. What's the worst heckler experience you've ever had on stage, if you've had one?
You want me to be honest? Okay, don't beat me up for this. How old? I was about 18 or 19 years old. I had just graduated high school. And some sort of way I met this lady who was she was a part of some board or something for the DC Department of Child Welfare Services. They were they were in charge of making sure that kids who come from certain backgrounds graduate from high school. And so since I had dealt with a lot coming up and I graduated and everything, we were talking and she said, well, you know, it would be great if you did your comedy for these kids who just graduated. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I get there And she's like pointing them all out. It's about 20 or 30 of them. And she's like, okay, so everybody in here is fucked up, basically. And she's like, that one over there can't read. That one got molested by his uncle. That one over there got beat every day. I mean, just telling me all this stuff. Fast forward, I get on stage. I'm doing my show. One of the kids in the back screams out, "You're not funny." And I was like, yeah, but I know my dad. And so then they kept screaming stuff out, and I just was saying stuff back. She's in the back, like, not saying nothing to them. They can do whatever they want to do. So one of the kids in there said, I remember it said your hat is on too tight. And I was like, you know what? It is. It's a lot tighter. It's a lot tighter than your booty hole was after you got molested in that foster home or something like that, I said. But yeah, that was the worst. I'm a much different, that was over 20 years ago. I'm a much different person now.
Hey, I asked the question. Did not expect that answer. Moving along.
Not proud of it.
Moving along. If you weren't a comedian, what job would you have?
Probably a teacher, or in a non-traditional way. It would either be I would either be a teacher. I would make a great teacher, or some sort of non-religious pastor, new age pastor, something like that.
All right. And then lastly, if you could headline a comedy show anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, venue, the Apollo in New York City.
Absolutely. All right, Sampson. And then any closing thoughts or last words you want to share with our audience, and be sure to let everybody know as well where they can find you on social media. I know we have your YouTube currently on the screen. So be sure to subscribe on YouTube, and then go ahead and let everybody know where they can stay connected with you as well.
Yes, so YouTube, definitely check out the YouTube channel. Also, check out the films Love, the One You're With, which is on Amazon Prime. Party in Play, which is also on Amazon Prime. There's another film we did called A Different Direction. You can look at that on YouTube. And on Instagram is at Sampson McCormick. And I just want to say I'm very proud of what you're doing, Ty. I'm very proud of your hustle. I'm very proud of how organized you are. You ask great questions. You're doing great. And I'm happy to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sampson McCormick. Be sure to follow him and connect with him on all social media platforms. We'll also be sure to include all of your handles and where they can find you in the description of our video. And then hopefully we can have you back on the show again to talk about your current projects that you're currently working on.
Absolutely. That would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for joining us this evening, Sampson.
Thank you.
All right, you guys are tuned in to Ty's Take Today Live. That was comedian and filmmaker Sampson McCormick. We are going to add our next guest to the stage. She is a music artist, and I'm so excited to talk to her about her journey and introduce you guys to her. All right, so without further ado, make some noise for Martinese. Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Ty.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited to talk to you about your start in the industry and the challenges that you have maybe faced, and really just introduce you and the creative that you are to our audience. So I really want to dive right in and ask, can you share with us a little bit about yourself and how your love for music first originated?
Yes. I started singing super duper young. I was like 3 years old when my dad discovered I could sing. And then from there, I would just get told to sing in front of all my family, at the station, in front of strangers. They'd like, sing something for them. Like, I used to just sing everywhere. And then I began acting. So I ended up running into someone one day, casually just singing. And I ended up getting, invited to audition. I was like 5 years old. So yeah, I ended up getting invited to audition. And I remember going in, it wasn't really any kids, but I took it very seriously. And I ended up getting a part. And from there, I got introduced to just being on stage. And I developed a love for acting and singing and just entertaining. And then from there, it never left me. But as you get older, you get into other things. I got more into like education and school. But my love and my passion for entertainment, music especially, never left my soul. So here I am, doing what
Absolutely.
I love.
That is super exciting. And I want to talk more about like who are some of your musical inspirations growing up, and how do those inspirations kind of influence and shape portions of your creativity?
My musical inspirations, I would say, it's definitely Mariah Carey. I love me some Mariah Carey. Beyonce. I love Beyonce and Rihanna. I love Rihanna's like edginess and her way of being just herself, like unapologetically. I love that. I love Beyonce's work ethic. I like the fact that she knows what she wants. She's very clear. Um, and I love Mariah's songwriting. I love um, her ability to really like tell a story with her voice and through her music. So I think I take different things from each person, but all together, I love all three of those women.
Absolutely. And being an up and coming and being a music artist, what has been the most rewarding part of your journey so far for you?
I think the most rewarding part is when people know the lyrics to your song. Like it's just so like, oh my gosh. And I had my concert about 2 weeks ago, the Martinese show. It was crazy to get on stage and like, so many people really knew the lyrics to my songs and was like chanting it back to me. I think that was so rewarding. Or when people DM me or see me and tell me that a particular song helped them get through a breakup or a tough time in their life, or it inspired them to follow their dreams, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's no better feeling than that. So.
Absolutely. And for you, what has been like a major lesson that you've learned about the music industry overall that, if you could go back in time, you wish you maybe had learned that lesson a little bit earlier?
Uh-huh. I would say a lesson that I wish I learned or knew before I got started is, hmm, I would say, don't take things personal. Everything isn't personal, like everything isn't personal. Everything isn't like a think piece to it. Everything isn't personal. Like it's business. At the end of the day,
And
it's the music business. So.
absolutely. And speaking of business, for you, how do you balance that creative side and then balance it out with the business side of things?
I feel like I'm still learning that balance, but I would say that it is tough sometimes because it's so many working pieces to what people actually end up seeing on the outside. Is so much that goes you have to go through on the inside. So I would say I'm still finding that balance, but I do have a great support system, and I do, have help. So I thank God for that because I would go crazy.
Absolutely. And I mentioned it all the time here on our platform, but we talk a lot about mental health when it comes to, with music artists and just different creatives and everyday people. For you, I want to talk a little bit about, how do you set time as an artist to cater to your mental health? And, because the industry can get overwhelming at times, exhausting. So for you, like, how do you find that balance? And like, are there any tips or advice that you would give to people out there that may be struggling with mental health?
You know what, Ty? I just started prioritizing my mental health this last year. And I would say taking self care days is very, very essential. Sometimes you just work so much and you have so much on your plate and you feel like you can't take a break because, it's so much they got to get done and it's just, you got deadlines, but you can't work all the time on E. So I do take a day when I know I'm like at my limit to just like, woosah and just do things that like make me happy and isn't about work or anything like that. Like I like to get massages, I like to write, I like to read. So I'll do and hang out with my friends. I like to just, be me, not the artist me.
Absolutely. Finding that balance is so important. Marnie, so of course, we're going to chop it up with you a little bit more and talk about some current projects and what we can expect from you later into as we continue into 2025. But right now, if you don't mind, I do want to share with our audience, Hate to Let You Go. So we're
Yes.
gonna go ahead and share that video. If you guys give me just a hot second to go ahead and share that, and then we'll come back and talk. We'll talk some more.
Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go. I can't even lie, I just can't get over you. And even though I try, I can't find how I feel about you. Do you remember those days? Cause my memory plays all the times we shared. Even though I shouldn't feel away, I can't help but think that if you still care, hate to let you go. Oh, 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 hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go. Although I'm moving forward, I still wish the best for you. I try to disguise my feelings, but it feels like torture. When I'm sober, I feel it about 10 times stronger. Can't be holding my feelings just any longer. Get out my feelings if I still feel for you. Can I move on without you if my heart still loves you? Can we pick up the pieces if I still don't trust you? And if you play it both sides, I guess it's fuck you. Remember those days, cause my memory plays all the times we shared. Even though I shouldn't feel away, I can't help but think that if you still care, to let you go. I let you go. I really hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. I really hate to let you go. Yeah, yeah. I don't wanna. Go. But I gotta let you go. Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go. Hate to let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Hate to let you go.
All right, welcome back to Ty's Take Today Live. If you're just tuning in to us this evening, we are chatting with music artist Martinese, and we just shared with you all "Hate to Let You Go." So I want to talk a little bit more about the inspiration behind that single in that music video, and tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes, hate to let you go. You know, sometimes when you're with somebody and things aren't really working out the way that you want them to, you know it's best to let them go. Even though you may not want to let them go, you know that it's for the best for you and them for you to let them go. And I felt like it was necessary to have a record like that because you don't always feel good about breaking up with someone or ending a relationship. You don't always feel happy or, the most confident about your decision. But, sometimes it's just best to follow your gut and let someone go, even if it's not, something that you really want to do. So that's where that comes about. The video, I really wanted it to like tell a story about how guys, sometimes they're not the most faithful. And, in the video, you can see me with the guy and he's doing all this sweet stuff for me, but he got another little girl on the side. And I'm just like done with him and over it because I got to let him go. Even though I don't want to let him go, I have to let him go. So I wanted the video to really tell that story, and I wanted to captivate those emotions the best that I could.
Absolutely. And now, can you share with us, are there any projects that you're currently working on, or what can we expect from you in the near future?
Yes, I have a single drop-in called 2 Week Notice, March 14th. So this is an exclusive. You heard it here first. And then I am working on another concert for the spring. My concert in January did very, very well. A lot of people definitely want me to run it back. Some people want to come for the first time. So I'm running that back in the time weather. So I'm excited about that. I'll be dropping the date of that soon. So working on new music, performances, just working.
Staying busy. I love the grind and the hustle and the grit and the passion. So we'll be sure to when you drop the single, we'll be sure to share that on our platform as well.
Thank
And then let us know about any upcoming events, and we'll be sure to reshare and post those. All right. So fast forward all the way to 2035. 2035. That sounds like a long time.
It do.
What is something that you hope to have accomplished by then? Let's go ahead and manifest it and put it out there now.
Okay. I want to have had a world tour. I want to have a crazy fan base. I want to have, a lot of different accolades. Like I want to have Grammy, BET Awards, Soul Train Awards. I definitely want to like sweep when it comes to different awards. And I want to really continue to inspire people to follow their dreams, that anything is possible, that you can get through tough times and heartbreak and things of that sort. Continue to help people feel confident when they listen to my music, help them feel like that one. So yeah, that's what I would say. 2035, I want to look back and be extremely, extremely proud of who I am then and how I've grown with me and my fans. So yeah.
Absolutely. I am looking forward to it. And then Martinese, I have to ask if you can sing just a couple, just a little bit for us, if you don't mind. Can we get them a little teaser?
Yes, I'm gonna sing a little bit of the single that's coming out March 14th, 2-week notice. So I'm putting in my 2-week notice. Is there any hope for us? Should I quit on our love? I'm putting in my 2-week notice. If you want me to stay, some shit gotta change. I'm giving you about 2 weeks. SWV, boy, I'm weak in my knees, so should I leave? I'm putting in my 2-week notice. I'm putting in my 2-week notice.
Hey, I love it. Thank you so much. Sometimes we get artists that are comfortable doing it live. Sometimes we don't. So that just shows you true talent at its finest. I appreciate you giving us a little preview. All right, so I have a quick game of rapid fire questions for you. If you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be?
Ooh, I would say Rihanna.
All right,
because it could be in anything. It could be in any lane. So yeah.
Okay.
I'll do Riri. Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna? Can we see some maybe like Rihanna covers or little clips dropping maybe sometime soon?
Yes. I will. I'll be sure to tag you in it too.
Please do. We'll drop. We'll have all our takers and all our audience go ahead and tag Rihanna. You should probably block me. You should probably ban me because I'm gonna spam it up. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, I don't really sing, believe it or not. I don't sing karaoke like that. So, but if I had to say a song that I probably sing easy is, I would say like Alicia Keys' "No One." I tend to sing that a lot. I don't know why, but I do.
Yes, Alicia Keys, all the feels for sure. If you weren't a singer, what career could you see yourself in?
Well, I was going to school to be a lawyer. Probably be a lawyer right now. So I'll probably be a lawyer right now. I'll definitely be in that field, the legal field.
Absolutely. And then if you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
Okay. Dang, that's so hard, Ty. Okay. I would have to say this probably wouldn't fit for every mood though, but my favorite song ever is Mariah Carey, "We Belong Together." If you know me, you know that. I love that song.
That is my favorite Mariah Carey song.
Stop playing. See?
See? Hey, we're best friends already.
Good taste. I feel like I would do that. It probably wouldn't work if I was like, going out with the girls or nothing, something like that. But it's a good, like, in the bathroom, you getting dressed before you go out song, you know. So
Absolutely. I'm sure if I check my camera roll, I probably have a ton of videos of me singing that song.
yeah,
Martinese, I
hmm
just want to say thank you so much for joining us and sharing part of your evening with us, and let everybody know again where they can find you and connect with you on social media.
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram at _Martinese. You can follow me on TikTok at __ Martinese. My YouTube platforms is Martinese. You can stream all my music. I'm on all streaming platforms at Martinese. So just check me out and give my music a listen and let me know what you think in the DMs or comments or whatever.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you so much for sharing your talent, your voice, and just a portion of your journey with us this evening. I hope we can
Thank
have
you
you
for
on again
having me.
soon.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll be sure to include all of your social media platforms in the caption and description of this video as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.
All right, bye.
All right. So for those of you that are maybe just tuning in, this is Ty Say Today Live. We do this every Thursday and Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just a quick reminder, if you have any questions for our guests, or if you want to check in and let us know where you're watching from, or just to share your take and your perspective, you can do so by commenting in the chat. Closing us out this evening is a author, activist, and youth leader. So I'm going to go ahead and add our next guest to the stage. This is Derrick Jakolby Washington. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Ty? How's it going?
Doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much for joining us in closing out today's episode. I'm really excited to share your journey. I know you're involved in activism, and I really just want to introduce you to our audience and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became an author, speaker, and advocate.
Sure. Well, first, let me just say I am incredibly appreciative for the opportunity to share today. I don't take these moments lightly. So thanks for being willing to share your platform with me. I tell people all the time that I didn't set out to become an author, let alone a children's book author. It's something that kind of just happened as a result of George Floyd. So in 2020, like all of us was stuck in the house, really. And then George Floyd happened, right? And so I began to think about my emotions that kind of stemmed from that experience. My sister had my nephew 6 months prior. And so I began to envision, like, what would life look like for him in the next 15, 20 years or so? Will he continue to live in a world where he's judged based on the color of his skin, where he comes from, or will the world embrace him for all of the greatness that he has to offer? And so I began to kind of sit down and like pin my thoughts around that and just around the whole George Floyd ordeal. Those thoughts morphed into a poem. I ended up reading it to my sister the next day, and she said, "You absolutely need to turn it into a children's book." And I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to do that. So I ended up reading it to a few additional friends, and they kind of confirmed what she said. And so that's essentially how I began my journey. So it wasn't the traditional writer's journey. I didn't have like a marketing plan. I didn't have like a publicist, any of those things. It was just me. And I put out a Facebook post. I remember putting out a post asking if anyone knew of an illustrator, got some great feedback from some of my followers, and linked up with a great illustrator in Charlotte who did actually both of my books. And my book was written, released, and published within 30 days, which is essentially unheard of in the author space. And so yeah, I didn't, like I tell people, I didn't set out to do it. It was something that kind of just manifested, and the results have just been mind blowing, man. It's been just such an amazing experience getting to share and meet with so many people all across this, not just this country, but across the world, actually. So yeah, incredibly grateful.
Absolutely. And Derrick, we're going to go ahead and show the two covers of your two books, A Special Little Girl and Son, You Matter. So I want the audience to just soak in these covers and these illustrations. Can you talk a little bit about each book and where what you hope these books when it comes to impacting young readers and their takeaways. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, great question. So the first book on You're Right, Son, You Matter, like I said, was written in 2020 in response to the George Floyd killing. It's about a little boy named Ahmad who loves his father, but absolutely loves chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. And so on the way to grab ice cream after school, they're stopped unjustly by a police officer. And so the book deals with the myriad of emotions that kind of stem from that ordeal, with the father having to explain the situation to his very young and impressionable son, while also wrestling with the emotions himself. It's a very real and raw story. It does end on a high note. I tell people all the time. I also have two activity and affirmation books that are companions to both of those books. But I am big on positive affirmations. So Son, You Matter is an affirmation that the father shares with the son each morning. And so by the end of the book, the son is using that same affirmation to encourage his father. So yeah, what I hope that readers can take from at least that book is, one, just an understanding of their worth, specifically young Black and brown boys. During the time that I wrote that book, we had a president, we have one now, that was calling our young Black and brown boys thugs and less than, and media portrayal and things of that nature was really portraying Black and brown people in a negative light. And so that is not the case. Certainly there's injustice and stuff happening everywhere with all races, but don't try to say that it is the entire race that is, that are thugs. So one of the thing that I really want people to understand is that, an understanding of their worth and value, and that, no matter what people say, that you matter, your life matters. And then my second book was written for my niece, a special little girl. My niece Zion was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4. So those of you who aren't familiar with autism, it's just really a developmental difference in the brain. And so it means that, they folks that are on the spectrum or autistic or neurodiverse, they do things a little different. They may, from society standpoint, be a little socially awkward, if you will. But they can learn, they can thrive, they can flourish with the best of them. And so yeah, my niece was diagnosed at the age of 4. She's 12 now. And my family's back home in Florida. I live in the DC area. So I went home to visit my family. And I attended a gymnastics class with my niece. And at the end of that class, I observed the instructor award every student with an award except her. Now, I'm not one for giving people participation points, and I mean that's nice. I think that it's important to earn, but when you do those types of things, when you do give every child or every participant an award and you skip one, it makes an indelible impact on them, believe it or not. And so especially someone that doesn't necessarily understand, and that already knows that there's something different about them. And so my niece, who is certainly verbal, but she has a difficult time articulating her emotions. She oftentimes communicates like cartoons or videos. When we got home from that class, she began to replay a cartoon that essentially talked about how bad it feels to be left out. And when I tell you, man, that thing broke my heart. So much so that I ended up staying up the majority of that night, kind of researching organizations that support children of color that have been impacted by autism. But I wanted to write an affirmation and to write really a story that my niece can take, as well as other kids that are just a little different, that they can take and really know that they are seen, valued, and loved. And so that's really how that's what I want kids to take from it. And that's really how A Special Little Girl was birthed. Because again, everyone doesn't learn the same. We don't look the same. We have our various differences, but it doesn't make us less than, or it shouldn't cause us to be left out. And so yeah, essentially that's what I want people to take from reading that book.
Absolutely. And I just want to, take a moment to give you your recognition and props and accolades to you, because like you said, I think it's so important, and I couldn't even imagine how you felt, during that experience with your niece. And it's so important, for especially youth and young Black little boys and girls to have this, to be able to see representation and to feel included. And I think it's, you know, it's not easy conversations to have, but you know, like you said, they matter, and it's important to make sure that they know that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes our media depicts not a truthful representation of that.
Right.
And I want to talk a little bit more about, you know, for you being an activist, you know, connecting and you know, reading your books and your pieces to youth. What steps do you feel need to be taken when it comes to schools, communities, and homes to truly make mental health discussions more open and accessible for all people?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that you know, talking about it more is incredibly important. So not acting like it does not exist. I think we all have like I'm from Florida. I think we all have like some family member that we're like, something's going on there. We don't know, we can't put our finger on it, but something's going on there. And so like, let's just not say something's going on there, but let's really bring light to it and encourage folks to seek out professional help. So get the diagnosis, you know, if from a licensed clinician, seek out therapy, like those types of things. Let's not no longer, you know, shine like a negative connotation on those things, but let's really shine a light on those things and the importance that they play in folks' lives. I think that's definitely key. And I think that exposing, specifically for children, exposing children to diverse stories that talk about some of these issues. So for instance, in my book, Son, You Matter, that's not a subject that, you know, that's not a bedtime story that most families will read their kids. But I've gotten so many messages from parents and caregivers and youth groups, even some college professors that use that book to talk about like the inequities of policing in communities of color, while also dealing with the mental health component that, you know, those inequities play on a person's psyche. And so yeah, I think it's not being afraid to share diverse stories that talk about topics that might be uncomfortable, or topics that may shed a light on neurodiversity. I think that those things are important. So the more that parents, school groups, teachers or professionals in that space that work with youth can talk about those topics and again shed light on them, I think that, you know, the better we will be in the end.
Absolutely. I think just initially being able to, you know, even use your books and your publications to you know, as tools to have these conversations is essential. Do you have any upcoming books, initiatives, or collaborations in the works that you're particularly excited to share with us?
Yes, so it's going to be a busy 2025. I'm super excited, man. Like I have a lot of great things happening. So I'm working on my my third book per se. Like I said, I have 2 activity and affirmation books as well, in addition to the 2 that you posted or showed there. But this book is about my nephew. So it's Zion's brother. He is also on the spectrum, but he was diagnosed with a form of MS. So he's 5, so he's unable to walk. But he loves to dance. It's the most amazing thing ever, man. Like you put on any type of music from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Whitney Houston to some rock to some rap, whatever it is that you put on, he's bobbing his head and he's like beckoning for you to pick him up and like dance with him in your arms. And so my next book is called Give Me a Beat. And so it's in the process of being illustrated now, and we're hoping to get it released. I wanted to get it released by Autism Awareness Month, which is in April, but we'll see how things happen. You know, like I said, Son, You Matter was written and released in 30 days, so who knows what the future holds. But the book really talks about like just the joy that music can bring to a person's life, no matter the obstacle, no matter the you know, the struggle or trial that they might be facing. Music has the ability to like re-energize and reinvigorate a person's life. I mean, I heard you talk to Martinese earlier, and like just like her journey and like the way that music has the ability to to manifest various emotions within us. And so, yeah, that's kind of what the book is going to talk about. So I'm really, really excited about it. It's something different than I've done before, but it's really fun. And so that's going to be released hopefully this summer. Working on season 2 of the Kobe Culture Show, which is a podcast that I do that features diverse authors from up and coming superstars to New York Times best-selling authors. So great season. The last season got tons of great feedback, and so we kick off with taping season 2 in March. And then I also host a YouTube series called the Storytime with Uncle Kobe. So I am all about featuring diverse talent, especially those that have been independent published authors, because they don't necessarily have that financial backing to promote them. And so as much as I can bring them on my platform and share their works with folks that follow me, I am all for it. And then this week actually coming up, I am participating in an event here in DC called the Black History Month Literacy Weekend. So it's going to feature tons of authors from across the country, and really shining a spotlight, on Black History Month. And then lastly, I will be kicking off my own author festival called the Black Author Experience, which will be a multi-city book festival. So stay tuned for all of those great things. You can check out all of the things that I'm doing on my website, djakobywashington.com.
Awesome. And I have a couple more questions for you, Derrick. Sure. What is one of the hardest challenges, you faced personally or even as an author or advocate? And, how were you able to overcome those obstacles and push through that?
Man, my biggest obstacle is me. I am an independently published author, meaning I don't have the traditional publishing house backing me. And so it costs money to do a lot of these things. And so I've been fortunate enough to have some pretty good success in this space since 2020. So with the first book, I did it without a publicist and all of those things. And I got attention from attorney Ben Crump, who was the attorney for the George Floyd family. He caught wind of the book and began to promote it through his social media. Michael Jackson's son, Prince Jackson, actually caught wind of the book and he promoted it through his social media. Like, these were like relationships that I didn't even know how to seek out, but they actually sought me out, found out about the work and sought me out, and began to push it through their platforms. My second book, I was able to get a publicist, and so he was able to help me to secure speaking engagements and things of that nature. But when I tell you, man, it is not an easy thing, and so I think that you have to get out of your own mind, get out of your own way, rather, and just be willing to try. Like, there are some things that I absolutely did not know how to do when I released the first book. And the second book, it was like night and day. It's like I had those battle scars, so to speak, from the first book, if you will, and didn't have to go through what I went through with the second book. And so every phase is a learning process. And so glean those things those experiences and take them as learning experiences and just grow from them, but get out of your own way. And so that's kind of what I've had to do.
Absolutely. And I have two last quick questions for you before we play a quick game of rapid fire questions, if you're down. So for you, what do you ultimately hope that your overall legacy will be when it comes to youth advocacy and literature?
That's a great question. I think that, the thing that I say that, and it's not just for literacy and the advocacy work that I do. Something that I learned a long time ago. There's a great pastor. He's kind of gone on. He passed away some years ago. His name was Miles Monroe. Great speaker, great pastor, what have you. But he would often say something along these lines, that the grave was, it may sound dark, but excuse me, I love, I mean, it resonated. But he was saying that the grave is the wealthiest place on earth. And the reason that the graveyard is the wealthiest place on earth is because in that place you have people that have died before their times, and they have like they you know, there's so many dreams and giftings and visions and all this purpose that kind of didn't manifest in the earth, if you will. And so for me, like one of the things that I want to do is to leave this world empty, having served every gift, every idea, every dream, everything that my creator gave me. I want to be able to give it out to the world. And so whether that be through advocacy, whether that be through friendships that I have, interactions like this, whether that be through books, I want to be able to give it all out so that, you know, whenever it's my time to leave here, man, I can leave and go on to wherever it is that I need to go and be free from it. If that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I want to leave, man.
Absolutely. And lastly, kind of a call to action question, if you will. What is one thing that you would like every person that's watching or listening to this interview or our conversation today to take action on?
Man, if there is a dream that you have, go get that thing. I don't care if you don't have the resources. I don't care if you feel like, oh, I'm not smart enough, I don't know how to do it. Do it. Do it scared. Do it afraid. Do it intimidated. Do it anxious. Do it with you know, tears in your eyes. Do it. Get it done. Because I feel like we all have something that we need to serve the world. Like there's somebody waiting on you. This is something that I live by. There's somebody waiting on you, your dream, your vision, waiting on you to get it together so that you can pull them up and pull them out of their place of despair and offer encouragement to their life. And so, yeah, get that thing done.
Absolutely, dropping gems of wisdom and inspiration. And our quick rapid fire questions. If you could sit down for dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Historical figure. Oh, geez. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if it's I would love to sit with Oprah and just like pick her brain. She just is so filled with like wisdom and has had such a lasting impact. And so I would love to just kind of pick her brain.
Absolutely. I am definitely down for a conversation with Oprah and Gail.
Yeah.
What is one book besides your own that you think everyone should read?
Oh, The Body Keeps the Score. It's a great book. I can't. The author is escaping me now, only because you asked me. But yeah, The Body Keeps the Score. So it's a great book to really understand how our body, how our body is affected by essentially things that happen in our lives.
Absolutely. I'm adding that to my list because I'm a book reader myself. So I'm going to make
see.
sure that I check out that book. What two songs or music artists are currently heavy on your music playlist?
Hey, that's my wheelhouse right here, right there. So my favorite artist of all time is Whitney Houston. So my favorite song is I Want to Dance with Somebody. Like that's going to get me up wherever I am.
Regardless.
I could be in church and they play that and I'm up dancing. Like that's my happy song. Yeah, I heard you ask about Beyonce. I am definitely a part of the Beehive. I am excited about this Cowboy Carter tour, so I'm trying to refresh listening to those songs. So that's currently in rotation.
Absolutely. I'm missing out on this round of the concert, but I did attend the last one. It was last minute the day of, and I was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
If you could if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Geez, 3 words. I would say positive. Oh geez, that's like an interview. Job interview. Positive. And I would say positive, encouraging, and talented. It's only because again you caught me off guard. So rapid fire.
Absolutely. And lastly, if you could instantly master any skill or talent, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I would be the best. I'll probably be the best dancer. I can't dance that well. So I'll probably be the best dancer ever. Like I would be in the likes of like um Alvin Ailey or what's Felicia Rashad's sister? Debbie Allen. Like those folks, yeah. I'll probably be the best dancer.
Absolutely. I took myself off the screen when we were sharing Martinese's video because I was
Mhm.
like, they're not going to catch me because I have
Right.
no rhythm. So I was back here off screen dancing,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
hear
like,
you,
let me not dance and show that I cannot dance.
bro. Right.
Derrick Jakolby Washington, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get out of here for the evening, can you just go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks for the opportunity. You can follow me on IG at DJakolby. I am DJakolbyWashington.com is my website, Facebook, DJakolby, Twitter, DJakolby, all things DJakolby. Or you can check out the Kobe Culture Show on YouTube. It's Kobe Culture Show, or as I mentioned, Storytime with Uncle Kobe. Those are my two YouTube channels.
Absolutely. And we'll be sure to link all of your social media platforms and where they can find and connect with you in the description of our video and on our social media sites as well. Derrick Jakolby Washington, thank you so much again for joining us. And hopefully we can have you on to talk about the upcoming book and any more projects. And I am definitely staying tuned for the list of the tours for the book tour as well.
Awesome. Thank you, brother, for the opportunity. Take care.
Absolutely. You as well. Thank you again.
Thanks.
All right. And you are tuning in to Ty's Take Today Live. That's going to do it for this edition. We do this each and every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Real quick, I just want to say thank you to all of our guests this evening. Earlier on, we talked to comedian and filmmaker Sampson McCormick. Be sure to check out his social media platform for all of his projects. We also got to chat with music artist Martinese. Be sure to stream her music on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and stay tuned for the projects and her release of her newest single called 2 Week Notice, which if you missed that part of the interview, she did sing a little bit for us of that song, which is going to be dropping really soon. And lastly, shout outs to our last guest, author, activist, and youth leader, Derrick Jakolby Washington. We'll be sure to link all of our guests from tonight's episode so that you guys can find them on social media and stay connected. That's going to do it for this episode. But before we go, we are going to tell you who's coming up on Thursday. So if you're joining us on Thursday for episode 19, can't believe it's already been episode 19, we are talking to author Anthony Johnson, and then we are talking to filmmaker, photographer, videographer, director, and podcast co-founder of The Loft 313, Demarie. We're also going to be talking to one of my colleagues, Becky Rinks, and February is Turner Syndrome Awareness Month. So she's going to be sharing more information about her daughter's journey with Turner syndrome as we continue to raise awareness for various causes here on our platform. And lastly, we'll also be talking to DIY decorator and YouTuber Jared at Home. So that is our next episode on Thursday, but that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Lastly, before we get out of here, y'all already know the deal. Be sure to follow us on all social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TysTakeToday.com for all of our social media. Also, we are trying to get to that 500 goal on YouTube. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. YouTube.com/@itsTysTakeToday. Like I said, Instagram @itsTysTakeToday and Facebook @itsTysTakeToday. That's going to do it for tonight's episode. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to share, subscribe, repost, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about tonight's episode. And we'll be back this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. That's going to do it tonight. Hope you all have a great evening and take care. Stay safe.